Right now in the DevHeads community, we're solving the serial wire viewer and other useful techniques for data tracing. We're here with Umesh, one of DevHeads' resident embedded experts. Hey Umesh, so why do developers struggle so much with serial wire viewer and printf style debugging?
Hi Brandon, the use of serial wire viewer is a little bit challenging for professionals because it requires to add few lines of code. Also, it requires to configure the ITM feature of ARM Cortex-M processor.
Why is configuring serial wire viewer on an ARM Cortex-M processor challenging for developers, and how can they avoid those challenges?
Often developers try to find the solutions by using UART pin or maybe a virtual COM port or something like that to make it easy, but it's very slow. So better they use serial wire viewer, even if it is a little bit challenging. They can use a set of techniques. They can configure properly step by step, and they can able to do a faster and native debugging. I have set up a demo where I'm going to show you how you can debug the step by step your code. And also you can not only be able to do a printf style debugging using serial wire viewer, but also you can able to plot the variable value real and runtime so that you can analyze the traces. So I have set up the demo. Let me share the screen. So here's the project that set up SWV, and you can see I have created this variable count variable, which is initialized as value 0. And then we have this weak write function, which uses this function ITM sendchar, which uses the ITM port of serial wire viewer. So if I can take you down further here in a never ending while loop, what we basically is doing is we are printing this variable value count. The count variable will be incremented by 1 every time, every 1 second of the delay. So that's exactly what's happening in the never ending while loop. So let me put this in the debug mode and show you what happens when we debug using serial wire viewer. So let's click on this debug icon here on top menu bar. Then click on debug configuration. It's very, very important. And then under debugger setting, we have to make sure that we enable the serial wire viewer. So this is the checkbox. We have to make sure we enable this. And then we have to click on this debug button here, and it will allow us to take into the debug console. So once we enter into the debug console, you can see the code execution is at all init function. So let me scroll down a little bit so you can see here the printf style debugging happening here. So what I'm interested here is to show you the serial wire viewer. So we will go to Windows here on the top menu bar, go to show view under SWV. We will first choose SWV data console. Here in the console port 0, we will going to see the printf style debugging. So the variable value start printing every 1 second. And also I would want to plot the variable value. So I will go to show view again under SWV. I'm going to select this SWV data trace graph. So the another window pops up here for graphs. And what we need to do is we have to go to ITM data console here and do the configuration. This is very, very important. So click on configure trace, and then make sure you select the port 0 here, and then click on OK. And then you have to click on the start trace. So it start capturing the variable value. Similarly, if you go to SWV data trace graph, there again, if you go to configuration setting, you have to make sure you put the variable value that you want to plot onto the graph. Once that is done, then click on OK. Make sure you click this start trace button, and then we will click on this resume debug session. Okay, let me click on it. And once it starts, let me just show you the debug trace. Let me suspend, and let me start trace, and then click on resume again. And now you can see the counter value start printing here. And if I take you to the SWV data trace in the graph, you can see the variable value starts printing here live in real time. So if I press the reset button, you can see the value drops down here and start incrementing back again every 1 second of the delay. So that's how you can see clearly using SWV not only give you a printf style debugging, but it also allows you to plot the variable value and traces so you can capture the data and analyze later to address or maybe solve much bigger problem in the firmware development.
So now that we've solved issues related to the configuration of serial wire viewer in a project, what are the next hurdles that firmware developers are going to encounter when they're working on microcontroller projects?
The next challenging area for the developers is to record the live data, record the traces so they can analyze further whatever the value that they are receiving. So it will help them to solve a lot of different major problems in the firmware development.
Great. So where can developers go if they want to find out more about SerialWire Viewer and other firmware debugging techniques?
For help or to learn more, they can visit the DevHeads GitHub repository where the content of this demo is stored. Also, they will find me under the DevHeads Discord server @Umesh Lokhande. I'm available to answer all the questions related to SerialWire Viewer and other debugging techniques and firmware related issues.
He's @Umesh Lokhande, I'm @TechieLou, and you can find all of DevHeads resident technology experts in the DevHeads Discord server, which is linked to on screen and in the description below. We'll see you in the server.